Okay, in my last video I uninstalled my template because I saw some problems in my template and I had some difficulties uninstalling it. I went through the uninstaller. Now I'm working locally here. My uninstall failed because I had actually gone into my WAMP server here and I had opened up my www directory and I'd gone into my Joomla site and I'd gone into my templates folder and I actually had the template folder open, so I was unable to uninstall it completely because I actually had the folder open locally. So you might not have that problem if you're working on a server live on a remote web host, but I just kind of wanted to explain what had happened. Okay, so I uninstalled my template and then I completely reinstalled it after fixing some files inside the template. I added some images that were missing to my XML file. Here's my template folder. I was missing some of the images that were in here in my images folder. I was missing them in my template details.xml file. So I added those, which helped to fix the template. And I'm about to fix it again because I'm making changes to my installed template right now, and then eventually I'll put those changes back to my original folder and then I'll re-zip it up and have a completed, kind of a little more finished template. Okay, so the goal was I wrote my site here and I ended up with an HTML version of the site. Here's my HTML index.html page with my images and my CSS, and this is what it looks like in the Firefox browser. Okay, so here's my template in the Firefox browser, and so what I wanted to do was then convert this to a Joomla template. And in the process of converting it, essentially, I went from this HTML version to this Joomla template version. And you can see here the difference. Discarding this, which I'll move out, here is the HTML version and here is the Joomla template. You can see that the index.html file has been changed to an index.php file. I have a template underscore thumbnail.png and I've got a template details.xml file. The images and the CSS are similar, but you know, I ended up making some changes. So I'll show you now the finished index Joomla install, and you can see that this one is my Joomla install now, my final Joomla install, and you can see that it down here at the bottom it has the user login from Joomla, and it's actually my Joomla site. So I did pretty good converting it from HTML, which is this copy, to this copy right here, which is now live in Joomla. I had a few problems along the way, and I thought I'd discuss that with you right now, some of the problems I had along the way as I transferred from beginning to end. Okay, so here's the index.php file, and I can tell you right off the bat, one of the first problems that I had was, aside from missing the images in my XML file, was in the header I had an opening div called ID header, but I didn't have a proper ending tag for it. So I put in the proper ending tag, and for some reason it was kind of still halfway working, but just not quite working right. Well, once I put in this end div tag, so that this is the whole div header, everything started working better. And you can see here that div ID equals header, then I've got image source and my logo. Then I've got div ID equals top and a JDoc include type modules name top. And right now I have no use for this. I mean, I'm not using it in Joomla yet, but this will be a position where I can put stuff in my Joomla site because it's now a position because it has a name called top and it's got the JDoc include. So I can stick modules into this position. So I put this in for future use. Then I've got div ID header right, and then I've got an image. That's the image of the mountains on the right hand side, the top of the template. And once again, the logo and this image have been directly put right into the index.php file. I could change that later, and I just might do that, is change that later so that it's not hard-coded. There's not an actual image tag in my index.php file. Then I've got div id equals nav dash main, and this is my main navigational bar, my main menu bar. And you can see here that the it's got an opening and an ending, and this is where my main navigation goes. Then down here is some of the other things. I made a change here in the div id title. This is a wrapper. Here's the entire wrapper, I believe. No, here's the div id. This is the div title. This is div content wrapper with div content main. And then this is div left, and then the end of the wrapper div. And then down at the bottom, I've got one more div for my footer. And so this is the main index.php file that you need. It's going off the screen here. You'll be able to get this updated version, this final version, on danscourses.com. If you go to the latest week's article, I'll have a download for it so you can download it.